Hey everybody, Jeff Bangerter here talking about 1031 exchanges using the Delaware Statutory Trust. Today I thought I'd get into a little bit of the, this is probably not most of the things that you're interested in, but I thought I'd share some of the detail into the, the PPM, the thick document. It's like, okay, well, what does all that say, right? It outlines a lot of different things in there. One of them is who's the trustee and who's the trust manager. Right, so the trustee is named in the certificate of trust when we open this, and it has to have a Delaware resident address, right? So, and there are companies that obviously do this, as how they make a living is by being the trustee for these Delaware Statutory Trusts. So that's in there. You're going to see that. You'll have the trust agreement, where the trust agreement is kind of the working instrument that governs everything they're doing. That's in the PPM, right? And so it goes through and explains kind of the detail. It shows who the depositor is. So you got to think about this, right? We're going to go buy this building first before we raise any money. That's how it works. So the sponsor company is going to put up 20, 30, 50, 100 million, whatever, right? And they're going to go buy the building. They're the depositor. They're the ones that are going to go actually buy the real estate first. So that's important that you understand too, right? They're going to go put up their money. They are making sure this is really good real estate, right? They are not just going to go, let's see if other people will buy it. They're putting their money at risk. Anyway, then the next position is the beneficial owner. That's you. So you are the one that ultimately gets all the income from this, and you get all the capital appreciation. You're a beneficial owner of this Delaware Statutory Trust, and so you get your fractional ownership based on how much you invest relative to the whole project. So if it's a $100 million project and you invest 10%, you're a 10% owner, right? So anyway, it just helps you understand. Then there's the master tenant. So the master tenant is the person that can, like it's really understandable in a multifamily tenant or storage, right? The DST cannot renegotiate leases. So we hire a master tenant. Well, that's in the PPM. Who's the master tenant? Normally, this is a company created by the sponsor company. So it's an affiliate of the sponsor company, because really they're holding this whole thing together, right? They're the ones really doing every part of this. And so they control the master tenant as well, so that they can renegotiate leases as needed, certainly like in multifamily and those types of things. If we do a big triple net, probably won't be renegotiating anything. Anyway, then the master tenant rent payment structure. So the rents flow to the master tenant, and then the master tenant has the obligation to pay us as the beneficial owners. And so that's all specified in the contract. What are they required? That's usually what we're talking about to you, is what's the distribution rate? Is this paying 5% or 5.5% or 6%, or what is it, right? So that's spelled out in the PPM so that they're contractually obligated to it. Now, again, if they lose, like if we did a bad thing and did one with a Sears or something, right? I'm picking on Sears again. Then if we don't have money to pay the rent to you, the distributions to you, they would stop, right? So it's important that we find good real estate. They're investing their money up front to get the real estate, and then you're buying your interest from them, from the DST sponsor company, essentially. So anyway, the cash is going to flow in, whatever it flows in at, they're going to pay that out to you. And then there's typically, like in a triple net, we know what the rent is. It's not going to change. There's not going to be any extra rent, no bonus rent, or anything like that. But in a multifamily, oftentimes there is what's called bonus rent. So because we cannot keep the cash flow, right, then as it builds up, then usually at the end of the year, they'll do it like a bonus rent, or they'll raise it. I have a couple of the companies, they just consistently raise the rent based on what they've raised it on the actual tenants that are actually, right? So we do want to make sure the way this is structured, right, is the master tenant is capitalized at first too, so the sponsor company is going to make sure that they have to run all of the functions that they need to do. And then there is one thing that you should know. All of these have a provision that says if everything that we have put together falls apart, the economy's crashing and burning, all of our tenants leave, and we need to do something that the trust does not allow us to do. We need to refinance, or we need to, some construction project or something. Then we can do what's called a springing LLC. And that is just a safety net there to where, like I say, if kind of all hell breaks loose, then they can, say, all right, we need to pull this out of the DST so that we have more flexibility, so that we can refinance. It's good to know it's there. I haven't seen anybody use it. It's not saying they won't, but it is there as a protection for you so that they can, do what's needed. And I did see one of the big sponsor companies actually not use the springing LLC, but what they did is they had a tenant that was a grocery store that got bought by another grocery store, and then they closed the location that we were in, and they actually took all the investors out of that deal and put them in another deal at no cost to make sure that they were okay. So it's good to work with big sponsor companies too. Anyway, final disposition of the DST property, right? So ultimately, you want to get your money back. So they're going to sell this project probably between year 5 and 10, somewhere in there. And then they're going to return your money back with whatever capital appreciation that happened. Now, again, it's real estate. I can't guarantee capital appreciation or even return of 100% of your capital, right? They're going to sell it for the best price they can get when they sell it. And whatever your percentage ownership is, that's what you get, right? If you own 10% of the deal, you get 10% of the sales price. And they've already built in the PPM, they've already said what they're going to take as a seller fee, right? And they typically, what I've seen is most of these are about a 3.5% commission or fee at the end to sell that, but they have to pay any real estate commissions out of that. So it's already pre-negotiated, right? You don't have to worry about, there's going to be a 6% realtor fee or something like that at the end. So anyway, I hope that helps. That was a deeper dive into the PPMs. We may do more of that, but we just like to really help you understand this. So if you have any questions, give us a shout, 800-451-2351. Thanks for watching.